How you guys doing with the quarantine?
Good. I'm technically on spring break now.
Oh,
I don't know how different it is from last week.
okay. We'll just get started now. Just know you guys are unmuted, so you know if someone farts or something out here. Do you guys have any topics you want to cover for sure today? Just throw them out loud. If not, like, go through it. My intent for this is that if most of you guys are sitting all day, like you can do this while sitting in a chair or on the floor. And I did want to cover questions about mobility. So people ask me, like, what's the right prescription for mobility? How long should I do it? Blah, blah, blah. But I want you guys to think about mobility as something that's kind of like perpetual, that you have to be working on the whole time. And so I want to introduce a metaphor. So think about your favorite couch, like maybe the couch that Mike and Amar are behind. If you've had that couch for 10 years, it'll have your grooves, right? Like the shape of your butt and your legs on it because you've been sitting on it for a long time. Maybe got another person. So think about when you first bought that couch and when you sat on it and you got up and you didn't have that groove on that couch, right? But then after 5 years of sitting on it, maybe sitting 4 hours a day, eventually that groove. Well, that's kind of how mobility works as well, where you just do it 45 seconds a day once a week or something. It's not going to make much change with your tissue, but if you do it more consistently and more persistently, then you can start getting the tissue changes where it starts to stretch out. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Hey, welcome newcomers. So we got Bree and Galaxy S20. What's up, Galaxy? No.
Oh. I don't know why I chose to say my name.
Is that Megan? Yeah.
Megan. I don't know how to.
My name is Fred. I'm the doctor of physical therapy for Unbroken Rehab and Athletics. So we may have some Chiselers here in Parkridge people. So welcome. We're all just one big family. So I was just covering the importance of mobility, of how long you should do it, the duration, frequency, blah, blah, blah. But basically, the gist of it is the longer you do it, the more consistently you do it, the better. So the metaphor that I gave was just, you know, the couch groove, where if you've had a couch for 10 years or so, you'll have your spot. If you sit in the same spot every time, it'll have your groove, right? Because the leather's kind of loosened up. But if there's a couch just in your basement, you sit on it, it's like brand new. And the same thing with your joints, tendons, and your ligaments. If you don't use it, it'll always be that stiff, and you're not going to have that mobility. But if you consistently stretch it and work it out, it'll become looser, so to say, and you'll be able to access that motion. So we're going to get started. This first one, obviously, I'll have room for feedback with this and whatever topics you'd like to cover. But most of it's just going to be, you're able to do it on the floor or the table or a chair, something like that, something easy with no equipment needed, no foam rollers, no kettlebells, nothing like that. We're just going to go from the top down, so we're going to start at the neck. Bree or Megan, do you guys have any body parts that you want covered for sure today?
No, in particular.
Not really? All right, cool. We'll go ahead and get started. I'll just be back here. We'll move it up a little bit. So first we'll start with the upper trap, especially with a lot of computer work. You start getting stiffer up here, and then you're like, you crack your neck and all move it all sorts of ways, and it still feels stiff, right? But what's a really good one is going to be this upper trap stretch. And what I like to do is try to pull it this way. That works well. But a little nuance with it is I want you guys to take the other arm, and I just want you to like let it hang down and maybe pull down on it. So if you look at my shoulder height up this side, just letting it hang down more, and then pulling to the side, like this. So you're going to stretch out that upper trap muscle on both ends, and then holding this for about 30 to 45 seconds is going to be a good start. And I like to do it on both sides, just for symmetry. And you guys got to be careful with this one, just because there is such a thing as overdoing it, where if you hold it for like 4 minutes, you loosen it up and then you actually feel stiff for it. So I want you to hold that for maybe 15 more seconds. And if you have neck pain, don't push past that or discomfort. Just hold it to the threshold where you start feeling it. You don't have to go all the way this way. But just a little bit goes a long way. So if you're doing this twice a day or something, you'll be able to get farther the second time than the first time. And then switch sides for me. So same thing. Depress that shoulder so it's kind of down, and then go to the side. Steer your shoulder straight to the side. Hold that for about 30 seconds. Are any of you working on the computer a lot during this sheltering time? Yeah. And relax. Next, we're going to stretch out the tricep muscles. And what I want you guys to do here is have your palm facing outwards like this. So just stretch it out like that. And then bring your hand to your shoulder. Like so. And you can use your other arm to help you, but then you're just going to grab this elbow right here, and then you're going to pull up. What's up, Catherine? Welcome.
I'm trying to get, Carrie's supposed to have one at 1, I thought.
Yes, she will have one at 1. We're doing a mobility class up until like 12:50, 55.
Okay, I'm new to Zoom. I'm just checking this out on my iPad, so.
All right, yeah, no worries.
Okay, thank
How
you.
is your hand behind you? Is it straight?
What was that, Dana?
Your hand, you're doing that, is it like extended, straight, back?
Yeah, whatever's comfortable, you can just kind of ignore it once it's that.
Okay.
But I just want the palm facing upwards.
Okay.
And for me, I'm really tight, so I definitely feel it like along the muscle belly. But this muscle helps with lats as far as like doing pull-ups and things like that. So you definitely want to keep it loose. And then switch sides. So once you're ready, go to the opposite side. Like this. 30 seconds at that spot. Should be feeling a really good stretch in the triceps there. And then you can do this like watching TV, obviously. I actually like this one. It opens up my shoulders. That's what you get with that like hyperextension here when you're pulling on your elbow. And then you get a lot of thoracic extension as well. And then right after that, we're going to go right into the lats, which is this muscle right here that you use for pull-ups and rows and rower. So it's going to be the same position as the start. But I want you guys to focus on making your biceps touch your ear more. It's kind of like creating a seal within your ear because you're pushing your biceps against your ear so much. And then you guys are going to lean towards one side. So getting in this position right here. Push your bicep against your ear. And then you're just going to lean away. Like this. So I want your belly and belly button to stay in the same spot. And then you're just leaning away from that spot. So I don't want you to lean like your whole trunk like this, right? You're just going to keep your belly in the same spot, and then you're leaning your chest away. So here, you should be feeling a good stretch right around here. And we'll just do 30 seconds on each side. So really, just a really slight change, and you change the muscles that you're stretching, right? I'm going to get tight on my left lat. Keeping the lats flexible is important just because it can prevent you from doing front rack things or overhead squats. When it's tight, it won't let you get to that Superman position when you're hanging from the rig. So it just has a lot of benefits. And it feels good afterwards. Actually, it's pretty instant for me, like as far as like doing that. Afterwards, I feel like I can expand more when I breathe. Yeah. All good with that one? All right, so I'm going to bring this chair. This one rolls, so just forgive me if there's some error here, but or you can just use like a chair or the base of the couch. But basically I want the back of it towards one of my thighs like this. And I'm just going to turn towards you and use the back of the chair kind of like a lever to be able to twist. So I love this one because it keeps your knees facing straight. And then I'm able to twist my thoracic spine. And I'm stretching out my obliques, my pecs, everything. While I'm holding this. So I'm just going to hang out here while I look at you guys and see if you're doing it. Some of you may be more flexible than others, doing like exercise style, going 360. That means you have really good thoracic mobility. And then to switch sides, I will just have to go to the other side of the chair. Same.
Hold on.
And you can add here too the neck rotation. So as you're twisting your whole trunk and twist your head at the same time, and just winding up like a little churro. I couldn't think of anything else that winds up there. Rotation is an important component of mobility just because it's in the 3D plane, and everything we do is kind of front to back, like exercise, workouts, CrossFit, where everything we're doing is bending forward and backwards, squatting, all that stuff. So it's good to move in that 3D plane just so you're covering all your bases. All right, but speaking of that front and back motion, when you guys sit on the computer, what's the first error that comes when you get more relaxed and lazy? When you get more tired, start to slouch like this, right? I'm guilty of that for sure. Like you can already see how rounded my back is, and I have to fight to really keep it extended. So I just like to use a chair, like preferably I didn't have a chair that leans back, but just keeping my hands clasped behind my neck like this, leaning back against the chair, and raising both my elbows up towards the ceiling, like this. Perfect. Now, if the back of the chair didn't move, you can definitely get a really, really good stretch. There, and then focus on your breathing. So expanding the bottom of your rib cage here while you're holding. Try to bring that up towards the ceiling as big as you can. And then when you exhale, go a little bit more into the stretch. And then as you expand more, you'll feel like all your back muscles start activating. Doing okay, Dana? Take like 5 more breaths from me, and then we'll move on from that way. Bree, are you still there? You doing okay? Good. Are any of you dealing, show or raise your hands if any of you are dealing with some lower back tightness during this time? Breathe. Anyone else? All right. Same thing when you're sitting. This is going to be a good one because what you can do is just spread your knees apart a little bit and then just bend forward towards the floor, just like that. So it'll separate those joints in your lower back and just let them breathe for a certain amount of time. Because as you're sitting or standing, this gravity is just pushing down on those joints and your disc and just making them stiffer and stiffer. But by doing this, it opens it up a little bit more and lets them breathe. And then as you guys come back from it, come up slowly, kind of like a Jefferson curl, where you're slithering up like a snake. And this is like a nice little pinching kind of deadlift type of exercise where you're working the lower back muscles. So working on that core stability, core strength at the same time. And it's actually one of the things that I've described for my lower back patients because they have a hard time kind of controlling themselves coming back up like this, where they have to do constant support movements like pushing up from the chair or pushing up from the knees because their lower back muscles are just not strong. So let's do a set of 5, hold for 5 seconds at the bottom, and then do that like snaking up thing that I was talking about. So slowly, segment by segment, come back up like a little slinky. Honestly, like if you do this with weights, you'll start feeling it in your glutes too. It's pretty cool. So Mike and Amara, you guys are coming up to hinge still like a deadlift, but I want you guys to round the lower back and round your upper back while you're coming up. So you're coming up like kind of like a slow slinky, like those inflatable things at the car dealerships, where they go up slowly like that. I'm all about metaphors, man. That's what we're all about in a broken rehab. A couple more. Great job, Megan. You're definitely feeling that one. I can see it. All right, we got about 3 more for today's session. And now we're going to go over the hips. Especially sitting, your hip flexors get tight, your glutes get tight, hamstrings start feeling stiff. The first one's really simple. You're just going to bring crossover like this. You guys probably already do this on your own. But to make it more efficient, you're just going to push down your knee, and then you're going to start leaning forward like that. You're going to stretch your piriformis, you're going to stretch all the other glute muscles. And it's going to be pretty intense. So start off by just putting your hand on it, already just letting gravity do its work, and then every 10 seconds, just push a little bit more every 10 seconds until you're like 30 seconds per minute. What you can even do is while you're doing work, just hold in this position. And after typing a page or something, then just switch over to the other side, which for me is ridiculously much different to the other side. My personal secret with mobility drills is just doing it while watching TV. Especially like during a commercial break, it's already been a minute and time has already gone by. And you just held this position the whole time. So it's all just win-win. But like a plank, like if you're not being distracted, like every second lasts like an eternity. So you're not going to want to do it if it's not like, it doesn't fit your lifestyle as a person. It's excruciating. So just find ways to do it where you're able to hold that position while you're distracted and you're able to do it for a full out period. All right, getting loose. I'm going to work out after this. This is perfect. Next, we're going to work on the hip flexors, like right over here. So I like to turn away from the chair just so I can hold on to it, but I can also have the chair facing me so if I'm using like this. And you're just basically going to lunge forward like this. So find a way to make this work. So you guys, so you're kind of like Captain Morganing it. Keep your foot planted at the bottom, that leg straight, in a half kneel position, and then you're just going to lean forward like so. And then to get more of a stretch, you're going to cross your arms over your chest and then lean backward with your trunk. You should feel it like right around. tip, if you keep that bottom leg planted, a lot of times if you keep your heel stays flat, your calves also get a stretch at the same time. So you're going to get, quad stretch, hip flexor stretch, and the calf stretch at the same time. And then switch sides. Like I said, go in a half lunge, sit in that position where it's already stretched out. Cross your arms over your chest, and it's just like you're pushing your rib cage backwards. Hold that position. Whew. This is it. Ephraim, you should have joined us. You're muted, Dan, I can't hear you. Next time. Better be here next Monday, Ephraim. So I definitely feel that one. That'll help with a lot of sit-ups exercises and approach the bar, knee to chest. And lastly, we're going to go over the hamstrings. There's a lot of different ways you can stretch your hamstrings. I just like this one where I'm going to stand in front of the chair, heel on the chair, and legs straight. And then you can start slowly moving forward. And it's pretty excruciating for me right now because I'm pretty stiff. But what I like to do when you're doing that stretch, push your heel down on the chair, kind of get a little bit of muscle activation. And when you're doing that, you actually get a better stretch because you're recruiting all those fibers, and so they're able to get stretched out. In therapy, we actually have a technique where we just contract the muscle a little bit, so loosen it up a little bit more. And that's something to do with the nervous system, and I don't want to bore you guys, but like especially if you're really stiff, so let's say I'm just kind of bent like this and you're already stuck. I'm just going to push my heel down a lot and push down while I'm trying to stretch, and eventually it'll just loosen up like butter. It'll smooth it out. But it takes about 30 seconds to a minute and a half before it starts to loosen up really that I can get it straight all the way. And just because the sciatic nerve travels right underneath the hamstring, this one is a little bit more sensitive to that. The opposite leg, way more stiffer for me. But if I push down, it kind of makes it not as bad. Come out of it a little bit, and then when you go back into it, you can go a little bit more. And really what we're looking for is just millimeters of improvement every day that can add up to become inches, that become feet, become miles. So just chipping away at the stone, working on it little by little every day. That is, I'm going to meet you all. So that's the first installment of the mobility course today. Here, a little early, but we're just wrapping up here. Thank you guys for coming. I'll have a recording of this, hopefully, and I'll give you guys a link, and then you'll be able to access it and rewatch it. And thanks for coming. Bye later.
Thanks, Fred.
Thanks, Fred.
Bye.
Guys, you're amazing.